At this place in history, we're just off of Route 7 in Middlebury with Steve Perkins, the Executive Director of the Vermont Historical Society. And Steve, what brings us here this week?
Well, Mike, a very tasty reason this week. We're at the home of the Vermont Cider Company, home of Woodchuck Hard Cider. So we have this thing in the U.S. called Prohibition, commercial production of things like beer, wine, and cider, which was hard at the time. When you said cider, it was hard cider. That all ceased. It took a long time for that industry to come back, and it really wasn't until 1991 that the hard cider industry came back into commercial production, and this company helped start that.
We take that apple juice, that base, add yeast to it, and ferment it out very much like a wine.
And people have been doing this for years, right?
Yeah.
Hundreds of years.
Yeah, centuries.
That, I would have to think, may have been what led Greg Failing, the founder of Woodchuck, with whom you've worked at times during your time here, to want to branch out from wine that way. But what might have led him to do that, given that there hadn't been any commercial hard cider production in the U.S. for, what was it, 70-odd years?
Yeah, yep, exactly, since the Prohibition era. So Greg was a winemaker at Joseph Cerniglia Winery. And had tried some European ciders, thought that there was a potential for sort of a U.S. market for it, and started to dabble in that space. Different than European ciders, but you know, started to craft amber our first in 1991.
A lot of people might not have ever heard of such a thing.
For sure. I mean, you compare it to beer, right? Or you talk about the package that it's in today. I think in the early years, it was a lot of like, is it a cider beer? Is it a cider wine? And there was a lot of education about the process and the difference between beer, and really getting people to try it, right? To be able to taste that liquid and educate along the way.
So tell us about those early years.
Sure.
You know, I've heard turkey basters brought up. I mean,
yes.
what's up with that?
Yep. So those early years, right? 91 through probably late 90s. It was an old Coca-Cola bottling line that would fill bottles up to 10 ounces. And the last 2 ounces had to be filled with a baster. So again, in those early years, package only, bottle only in Vermont. As we look to expand outside Vermont, it wasn't logistically feasible to ship bottles. A UPS truck showed up one day, dropped off a package, and that package happened to be the size of a keg, right? Mm-hmm. So the light bulb went off, and it was wait a minute, can we put a keg here, put a label on it, ship it out with a return label, and get it into markets, and again, increase education and trial. So I don't think we ever expected to see that return keg come back, but those empties started to come back with those return labels on, and at first it was 2, and then it was 8. It was a box truck and then a trailer, you know, tractor trailer truck, until that, I think, red flag came up where it was like, hold on. Then by that time we could enter into the logistical process that was necessary to get that product out of the state.
And if anyone wants to come here, when during a given week can they do it?
Wednesday through Friday, 11 to 6, and then Saturday, Sunday, 11 to 5.
A Vermont vintner revives a long dormant American industry at this place in history.